Today, a crisis is raging at the southern border. It was created by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The crisis rages every single day, and yet our president doesn't care. Our vice president doesn't care. Democrats in Congress don't care. Over 2 million people crossed illegally last year, the highest rate of illegal immigration in 62 years. We just passed the threshold of 1 million people crossing this fiscal year. And it's only March. These are not just numbers on a piece of paper. These are human beings. If you want to understand the crisis, come down to South Texas. Last year, John Cornyn and I brought 19 senators to South Texas to see firsthand in the Rio Grande Valley what is happening. When you sit down and talk with Texans, particularly those on the border, you understand the crisis. When you sit down and hear from Texas farmers and ranchers, moms who are frustrated, who look at you and say, you know, my teenage kids, I don't allow them to go out on our property anymore without a loaded firearm at all times. Because there's so many traffickers, it's not safe. And these moms are pissed. They say, how can it be that my own kids can't go out on my own property without their lives being in danger? Where the hell is my government? When you talk with the communities of South Texas, their hospitals are overflowing, their prisons are overflowing, their schools are overcrowded. And this administration doesn't care. When you talk to South Texas elected officials, many of whom are Democrats, one after the other will say, you know, if my party's for open borders, I can't be a part of that. Nobody who sees what's happening can defend this. There's a reason Joe Biden has been to the southern border as president 0 times. Not once. He doesn't give a damn. There's a reason Kamala Harris has been to the Rio Grande Valley 0 times as vice president. She doesn't give a damn. She went to El Paso when she got guilted after months. By the way, she's ostensibly the border czar. She can't find the border, but she's in charge of it. She went to El Paso, which is 800 miles away from the Rio Grande Valley. It's a wonderful city, but it's not where the crisis is raging. For 4 years, Democrats and the media went on and on and on about kids in cages. To every reporter here, if you wrote a story, if you stood online and said kids in cages, that was the talking point. I'm going to ask you to find a tiny bit of journalistic integrity and remember they're kids in cages right now. Except the cages are bigger and there are more kids. And you know what? I went to the cages when Barack Obama was president. I went to the cages when Donald Trump was president. And I've been to the cages when Joe Biden was president. Not a single one of the Democrats who gave speeches about kids in cages gives a flip about the little boys and little girls packed in on top of each other, many of whom test positive for COVID. Nor do they care about the children being physically assaulted and sexually assaulted. Today, there are little girls and little boys being physically and sexually assaulted by human traffickers. And this is caused by Joe Biden. 3 decisions: halting construction of the wall, reinstating the failed policy of catch and release, and ending the incredibly successful Remain in Mexico policy. Those decisions produce that crisis. And the Democrats are desperately counting on the media not to cover it. They don't have a solution. They don't intend to change. They want millions more to come in year after year after year. Children being assaulted. Criminals being released. American safety in jeopardy and chaos. And all of this is preventable.